Hello beautiful and amazing people, my name is Amito Mitra. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. For those of you watching me for the very first time, you're most welcome. I am speaking right from Uganda, Kampala, East Africa. If you're new to this channel, kindly feel at home. Make it a point to subscribe to this channel and also don't forget to like this video. Otherwise, I hope you are all keeping safe and I hope that God is protecting all of you. So in today's video, I have taken the longest time to upload a video. I think for those of you who watched my previous video, it was like a week ago, if I'm not mistaken, either a week or 5 days ago. Now the reason is I have been trying to learn how to use my new camera and how to edit on my laptop. These are things I had never taken the initiative to learn, not until I got this camera, because guess what, there is no way I'm going to use my phone when I have a camera. So I am in this whole transition of using the phone to using the camera, and you guys, it has been hectic. I hail you, everybody using a camera and editing on your laptop. You guys are the real MVPs. It's really been a struggle for me. And given the fact that we are in a lockdown here in Uganda, Kampala, so it is really hard for me to get people come in to help me, teach me how to use the camera and how to edit while on the laptop. But guess what? YouTube is here for me. So for those of you who feel like YouTube is a wastage of time, like being on YouTube is wasting time, guys, YouTube has taught me so much in a period of 1 week. I never thought I would sit on YouTube. I would sit down, watch a YouTube tutorial and learn so many things like I have done in the past 1 week. I have learned how to use Premiere Pro by just watching people show me how to do it on YouTube. I've learned how to use the camera by just watching people show me how to. You guys, I'm so grateful for YouTube, and guess what, I am here to stay. I'm here to stay on this YouTube platform because this is my new home. This is my other home, my very beautiful humble home. So guys, without wasting time, today we are going to talk about something that I have wanted to talk about and the longest time. Oh my god, every time I want to talk about it, I'm like, maybe let me wait and talk about it on my new camera. Okay, maybe let me wait, give it some time and see if I'm healing or I've healed. You guys, it's really been the longest time, but I thank God that I am here to talk about it today, and hopefully this that I'm going to talk about is going to be of help to so many of you people. I know so many of you people will learn a thing or two from this video. Now let me tell you something. In Africa, talking about a battle or a disease that you have battled with is considered, I don't want to say an omen, but it's considered okay, bad. Let me just use bad. Like in Africa, our relatives, friends, and the people around us feel like we're not supposed to talk about diseases. It's a bad thing because there is always this segregation when people attribute you to a certain kind of disease. Not anyone wants to relate with you. People feel like you're going to infect them, something like that. But guess what? I want to change this narrative. I want to change this narrative, and let me be one of the first people to talk about something I have battled with for a long time. So today I'm here to talk about my battle with tuberculosis. Yes. And I don't want this video to be very long, but I know it's going to be long. But let me try see how to talk about everything in the shortest time possible. So for those of you who don't know, and I know 99% of you guys don't know, I have been battling with tuberculosis for the longest time, and I thank God that I'm here to share my story with all of you guys. So my whole battle began in October 2020, and that was last year. That after COVID break, I remember that was a time like life was trying to get easier for so many people in the world. So for those of you who have been following me for the past, I don't know, 2 years, 1 year, you all remember the times when I used to upload a video and then disappear and then come back and tell you guys, by the way guys, I've been sick, blah blah blah, but thank God I'm here. And then after uploading that video, I totally disappear again. So that was the time I was battling with this disease. Now my journey started, okay, if I am to remember, my real physical journey started in October. I was falling sick all those months before October, but October opened my eyes. So in October, I get this cough. Yeah, I got a cough, and the cough was not going. But you all remember that during that time, it was like an offense to have cough, because we were still dealing with the COVID-19. Yeah, and that was a time when whoever saw you coughing or having flu would associate you to COVID-19. So it was like a disease we were supposed to hide away from people. Like when you got cough, when you got flu, you weren't supposed to tell anyone that you had gotten them. So you were supposed to treat silently. So I got cough, and you all know what happens in Africa. When you get that cough, you start self-medicating. So I did that concoction of ginger, garlic, and honey. What else? Ginger, garlic, honey, and lemon. Yes, I was doing that. But given the fact that I've always been having ulcers, lemon has not been part of my menu in the longest time. So I would do a lot of ginger and garlic and honey. So I took that for I think 1 week. But guess what? My cough was not going. So what I did was try to self-medicate. You all know these things. Africans, you know, we do these things on a daily. I tried to self-medicate. I went to the nearest pharmacy, got some few cough tablets and syrup, and started taking them. Unfortunately, girl child was not getting any better. Now, all this time, I am going to work and coming back. But you know me, the mere fact that I hated COVID so much and I didn't want it to come closer to my life, I always had my mask on, guys. I had my mask on, but all the time I was still having the cough. Now I started to ask myself, why am I having this cough and why is it not going? I've tried self-medicating and the cough is not going. I've done the local things and it's still not going. Now, during that time, my family got cough as well. My sister, my sister-in-law, who else? My niece, they got COVID because during that period, lockdown found them at home, so we had to be together as a family. So they all had cough. Now, in the process, I met this friend. I have a friend called what's his name? What's his name? Oh my God. Oh my God, I've forgotten his name. Like he's one of those people that sell herbal medicine in the country. If I remember his name, I'll put it here. So I had this friend. I think I met him. I was working on something with him. So when we met, he was shocked I had cough. So he told me, for how long have you been having this cough? So I told him it's been around 2 weeks and the cough is not going. I'm trying to self-medicate and, you know, get treatment here and there, but the cough is not going. So I was like, why didn't you tell me? I would have gotten you something. So he gets me, my friend is called Chitonsa. Yeah, Chitonsa. He got me some herbal medicine. And guys, I thank God for the friends that I have, because this guy refused me to pay for this medicine. So he gave me the medicine and told me to take it and give him feedback. So I was so grateful. The following day he sent me the medicine and I started taking that medicine, and guess what? I took the medicine together with my family. Now, everyone in my family who had cough got healed in I think 3 days. And then remember, my cough was also bad, like I was over coughing, and then in 3-4 days the cough had gone, but I had this small cough of that one. So the other bad cough had gone. Then I remained with that small cough. But then, given the fact that this medicine had already showed that it was working for me, I was hopeful that in a few days, this small cough would also completely go away. Meanwhile, my family was fine. Like, that medicine had helped them. They were totally fine. Their cough had gone completely. So thank you so much, Chitonsa, for helping my family out, for healing my family. May God bless you so much. And yes, days went on. Girl child was still coughing, like a small cough could still come. Now this time around, I almost like I was tired. I was giving up. I was like, now what is it? Why am I not getting any better? Everyone is getting well. I am the only one not getting well. This cough was still persistent. So eventually, in the process of me trying to do away with this cough, I got this flu. I got this flu that came for like 3 days. I still self-medicated. I got some drugs from the pharmacy and swallowed them, and the drugs were so helpful, and my flu went. Now this time around, I had a fight. Like I had a very big quarrel with myself. So I was like talking to this cough, and I'm like, you cough, what is wrong with you? Why are you not going? The bigger cough came and went. Now this small cough is still disturbing me. So I asked the cough, your friend, your sister, flu has come and left. Flu came for only 3 days, guys. With myself medication, flu went. Now, why is this cough not wanting to leave? Now, it was at that point that I had this idea. I think I have COVID. Meanwhile, all that time, we had been checked at work and I was negative. I was COVID negative. And then another 2 weeks passed. Now we are in September. I'm still coughing. So I was like, I think now this is getting worse. Let me go and do my own COVID test. So I went, I called a doctor friend around in some very big hospital around. I called him and I went to him. I told him I wanted to do a COVID test. Now by then, a COVID test was 250,000 Ugandan shillings, for those of you who remember. So when I talked to this friend of mine, I was like, no, it's okay. I will top up the 100 for you. Just pay 150. So I paid 150. I was so happy. I was tested for COVID, and then the following day my results came out and I was still negative. So it was at that point that I knew I didn't have COVID, and I started asking myself, why am I still coughing? So when I talked to this doctor friend of mine, he requested me to go for treatment, like go see a medical practitioner, a better medical practitioner, because this friend of mine is not yet at the top. Like he just completed school not long ago, so he wouldn't treat me that much. So he requested me to go to a bigger hospital and see a bigger medical practitioner to find out what exactly the problem is with me. So what I did, given the fact that we were in that whole lockdown period, there is no way I would go to a much bigger hospital in town. So I went to the nearest clinics, better clinics. Yes, I went and talked to this doctor, explained how I was feeling, and the doctor was like, okay, let's run some tests. They ran the tests, and the doctor came up with a conclusion of I have cough, and then I have malaria, and that is the reason as why my cough was not going. So I was there asking me, so I was like, okay, I'm not a doctor, but then how does malaria and cough work hand in hand? But anyway, doctors are always right. I was like, okay, so what are we going to do? The doctor is like, we are going to put you on some medication, injections inclusive. I adhered and went on with the medication. They gave me some drugs I was taking alongside the injections. And guess what? This medication went for 5 days and girl child was not getting any better. Now, in fact, the cough was worsening. The cough was worsening now. This time around, it was making me so weak. It was giving me nausea. It was giving me headache, temperatures at night. I was like, now, God, what exactly is happening to this girl? So I remember, I think it was like my 3rd day getting my injections from the hospital, from the clinic. I talked to this nurse because the doctor would come like in the night when I was getting my 2nd injection. So I talked to the nurse who was giving me the morning injection. I told her, but I'm not getting any better since I began this medication. This nurse was like, no, sometimes some people react differently to medication. It is until you're done with medication that you will see a great improvement. So I was like, okay, maybe let me finish my 5 days of medication and see. Guys, fast forward, my 5 days of medication were done. The day I got my last injection is the day I became worse, guys. Now, at that moment, September is almost ending. I became worse. I wasn't feeling well. I was like, no, I think these guys didn't find out what exactly the problem was with me. So I rushed to, now guys, I'm not going to mention all these hospitals because I don't want people to come for me saying I campaign for their hospitals. Let me only mention the hospital that did wonders for me. So guys, I leave this clinic and I go to a much bigger hospital in town. I went to town and I met this specialist, this doctor, and a few tests were run on me. Meanwhile, this is a very big hospital, guys, a very big hospital. So they ran a few tests on me, and they checked my x-ray, and eventually at the end of the day, I think I spent the whole day in that hospital. Not the whole day, I think around 5 hours in that hospital. So at the end of the day, now this doctor gives me my results and tells me I have COVID. Meanwhile, all this time, I wasn't tested for COVID. This doctor just heard from what I was telling him. He asked me, what are your signs and symptoms? I told him, how do you feel at night, during the day, in the morning? I gave him everything. I told him everything the way it was. And this doctor put a few things down and came up with a conclusion that I had COVID. Meanwhile, all the time, the only thing he checked was my blood and my x-ray. I was taken to the lab for an x-ray. Is it the lab? Is it called the lab? That x-ray room that has all those big machines. So meanwhile, that same day, my x-ray didn't come out. My x-ray came out the following day. So now I was asking myself, why is this doctor saying I have COVID and yet my x-ray is not even out? It's coming out the following day, yeah? But you see, like I told you guys in the beginning, doctors are always right. So at this moment in time, I had to believe that maybe the doctor is right. So I was like, there is also a chance that all these people have been checking me for COVID, and by then I hadn't contracted it. Maybe during this period I have been on and off hospital and clinics. Maybe that is when I contracted the COVID. So the doctor I had to pay a lot of money for that medication, you guys. I paid a lot of money. They gave me so many medicines that were supposed to take me for 2 weeks. Then they gave me, what else? They were just medicines, so many of them. I came back home, and then this doctor tells me, don't tell anyone, because if you do, Ministry of Health is going to come pick you up and take you for isolation. Then what you're going to do is keep in your room and make sure you take all this medication, and when the 2 weeks are done, come back for a review. Guys, I went home and started taking my medication. Now that was the time I stopped working for some time. I was home, and because I didn't want to infect, given the fact that I still used to have my mask on 24/7, I found it not wise to go to work because I felt like maybe I have COVID, I'll infect people. So I kept at home doing my self treatment and all that, and eventually after the 2 weeks I was not fine at all. Now this was a time when my cough changed. Now this time around, the cough was too different. It was coming with a lot of pain. It was coming with a lot of strength. Like every time I wanted to cough, I would use a lot of strength to cough. All this while I was feeling annoyed. Why? Because I have been taking medication since October and I'm not getting well. Now that was my annoyance. My annoyance was, all this medication is not helping. Why is it all not helping me? So 2 weeks down the road, I was like, no. I kept talking to this doctor on phone, on WhatsApp. I kept telling him, this is how I feel every day, I'm worsening, blah blah blah, and still this doctor was just giving me hope. No, you're going to get better. Meanwhile, the day after I left the hospital, the doctor sends me my x-ray. And guys, believe me, my x-ray was bad, very bad. But still, this doctor insists that, hey, you have COVID. See, look at this x-ray. It is so bad. This is COVID. So all this while, I'm now confused. I don't know what to do, because the doctors keep telling me I have COVID. This doctor keeps telling me I have COVID, and yet the medication that he has given me is not even making me get any better. So I left it to God. 2 weeks down these 2 weeks, sorry, somebody was trying to call me. Eventually, after these 2 weeks, I still wasn't getting fine. I kept talking to this doctor, and he kept telling me, Amito, you have COVID, you just have to exercise more patience, you're going to be fine, those drugs are going to help you. Meanwhile, all this time I'm tired of the drugs. It's like 1 month and a half me taking medication, and I feel like I have so much medicine in my body. I feel that is not even healthy for me, but nothing to do. I had to listen to the doctor and finish up the treatment. 2 weeks later, I refused to go back to this doctor because he wasn't giving me any hope to get better. He kept telling me COVID, COVID, COVID. He didn't have any other alternative. Maybe let's check for this, maybe let's check for this. I gave up on this one. So I called another friend of mine who is a doctor, but unfortunately this friend of mine was working up country, like he was very, very far away from Kampala. He couldn't help me that much. So he advised me, after me telling him everything, he gave me an option. He was like, with everything that you've told me, there is a high chance that you could be having either pneumonia or something else. But he never told me about TB. There is a high chance you could be having pneumonia, but you really need a thorough test. You need to go to the hospital and specifically let them check you for pneumonia. So he advises me to go to a much bigger hospital. He gave me 3 options, so I chose one that was closer to me. I went to that hospital. It's also a big hospital, and I was checked for pneumonia and those other diseases. And then this doctor comes out with a conclusion that yes, you have pneumonia. And that was the time I felt some relief. I was like, okay, finally they now know what exactly I am suffering from. So they gave me medication for pneumonia. Now meanwhile, guys, all this time I am spending a lot. Time reached and I was totally down. I didn't have money. It was my mom doing the most. You guys, before we even proceed with this video, I want to say thank you so much to my mom. Guys, kindly say thank you on my behalf to my mom. My mom has been my savior. My mom has been everything, you guys. I think I wouldn't be this alive if it weren't because of her. Oh God, my mom has done the most, guys. My mom has done the most. I don't know. I just don't know how I would have handled this whole situation without her. So fast forward, I do treat pneumonia. They gave me so many drugs, and guys, I didn't know there were some drugs that were that expensive. I mean, you buy a drug and you have to swallow it for 2 weeks, and each drug is like 50,000, 75,000, and you have to take one every day or sometimes 2 every day. And it was really a very trying moment for me and my family, but I really thank God that we went through it. So I treat pneumonia. Now this doctor tells me you have to avoid using borders, don't be in the cold, have a scarf around your neck, all those things. I think for those of you who know me, who follow me on those other social media platforms, do you remember the time when I used to have my scarf all the time? And then I had to quit. Me and borders are like best friends, but that was the time I had to make a very tough decision to let go of borders. I stopped using borders. I now started using Uber, given the fact that I don't have a car, guys, but I know very soon I'll have a car. God is faithful. So I started using Ubers, and guess what? It was very expensive for me. In a day, I would spend like 40,000 Ugandan shillings just on an Uber, because girl child has to go to work and back. In the morning, I'm using like 20-something thousand. In the evening, I'm using like 20-something thousand. Sometimes I'm spending 40, 45. There is even a time I was spending like 50,000 on an Uber. Meanwhile, I'm just leaving Mutungo to town. For those of you who know that distance, I mean, I'm leaving Mutungo to Ginger Road, because that was where I used to go. So I spent a lot of money on Uber, on treatment, on feeding. Meanwhile, I was told there's some things you have to eat, some things you don't have to eat for this time. You have to drink a lot. Now, you all remember what was happening then because of this whole COVID. Fruits were expensive, like they really increased the prices of fruits, and that was it. I was supposed to drink a lot of juice, homemade juice, not these Minute Maids that you guys buy. I'm sorry, Minute Maid. But I was supposed to take fresh juice made from home. So everything was just expensive for me, given the fact that we're even from this whole long pandemic that had milked us dry. You know how it means spending while you're not working. So I was already down, and I felt like I was stressing my mom the more, because my mom was supposed to come in every time I failed. My mom was supposed to come in whether she wanted or not, because my mom is like my only family. I lost my dad, so I don't have any other family. Like, I have relatives, but most of them haven't been in my life. If there is any, there'll be like one or two, and of which maybe they're also not doing so well. So my mom was like my everything. I don't even know how to explain this. My mom is my everything in this world. So I treated for pneumonia, and eventually, I'm going to fast forward. I kept treating for pneumonia until December. I was treating for pneumonia, guys, but I wasn't getting fine. But because the doctor had already advised me and told me how pneumonia just doesn't go immediately, I was supposed to exercise more patience, yeah? But deep inside my heart, I knew I had pneumonia. So all this time, now let me tell you a simple story that even broke me the more. Now at that moment, I was working with this supervisor. I mean, in my life, I've had around, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. In my entire working life, I've had about 6 supervisors. I've had 7 supervisors. Out of the 7 supervisors, this one is like the 7th. This one I'm talking about, he was like the 7th. But I had never gone through the worst with a supervisor like I went through this one. I don't want to call him my boss. He wasn't my boss. He was just a supervisor. But this guy made me feel so, I don't know. I went through the worst. I went through the worst with this guy. Like, all the time I was sick. I was going through a lot, yeah. But you know, I'm not this kind of person who tells everyone when I am going through the worst. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So I don't know if you guys understand. You are going through the worst in your life, and then at work it's even worse. Like, worst. I almost said worse. It's even the worst at work. I mean, the person who is supposed to help you feel better. I mean, like, we have like, when you have a supervisor, this supervisor is supposed to guide you, right? I don't know if I take it wrongly, but I feel like a supervisor is supposed to guide you, help you make your career better, and basically they're supposed to be like a parent to you, you know, a work parent to you. Yes, because all my previous supervisors were so good to me. They were like parents to me. They loved me so much, and they are the reason I am who I am right now, and they are the reason I love my career this much. For those of you who don't know, I am a procurement person. I did procurement at university, so I'm supposed to be called a procurement officer, but given the fact that I'm still junior, so I don't think I'm there yet, but I'm a procurement person. So at work, it was a different story altogether. My supervisor made me pass through the worst. I don't know whether he just didn't like me or something, but I don't think there is anything like not liking somebody. I think he was just a bad supervisor all this time. Now, you guys, I was coughing, yes, but I wasn't coughing that bad. Like I told you, my cough was that small, but then every time I coughed, meanwhile I have my mask on, every time I coughed, this guy tried to make me feel so out of place, like I was the only person coughing. Meanwhile, all this time he was even coughing more than I was. Why do I even have a feeling he... So anyway, guys, he made me feel so worse about myself. There's a lot of segregation going on in office. There's a lot of I don't want to call it, I didn't want to call it mistreatment, but to me it is. I was mistreated. I was basically, this guy made me go through the worst. During that time, I didn't love my job. I just didn't love everything. Like every morning I knew I was going to work. I lost all the morale to go to work because I knew I was going to face this person who doesn't even like me, who is not proud of working with me, and who finds fault in everything I do. Man, you guys, I tried to work hard. Like I really tried to work hard. I made sure everything I was supposed to do was done and done neatly, but this guy never appreciated at any one moment. All he did was try to put me down, shout at me, back at me, call me names, all that. Now, what hurt me the most is he kept telling me I had COVID. I was going to make everyone in the office sick. Why am I still working? Go home, blah blah. I mean, this guy was never a parent to me. I mean, me, my entire life, I thought that anyone above 50 years is supposed to like act like a parent, and you know, I mean, this guy is almost the age of my dad. If my dad was still alive, probably they would be of the same age right now. But he treated me like he didn't have children. I mean, you guys, I might not explain everything that I went through during this time, but I went through the worst. It's not that this guy treated me badly during this time alone. No, it had started way back, but this time around it was just too worse, given the fact that I was already passing through a lot on my own, and then this guy was not making it any better for me. I might not be in position to use some of the words that he used against me during that time for so many reasons. I don't want to make him feel like, because I don't owe him anything though, but anyway, let's forget that. But just for you guys to know, I went through the worst at work. Work was not even any better for me than at home. I was all about taking medication, and you know, that was all my life was. During this time, all I needed was somebody to talk to me and tell me it was going to be fine, but not somebody to keep cursing me and calling me names and telling me how I'm going to make everyone sick. And yet this same person was even coughing more than I was. But because I am inferior, you know, you guys know, in Africa, especially here in Uganda, I mean, your boss is your boss, your supervisor is your supervisor. Like, you're not allowed to say anything wrong they do. You're supposed to just keep quiet. You just let them say whatever they want to say against you, but you can't say, you can't retaliate. So that was the situation I was in. Nobody out there would really understand what I was going through. Not even my other workmates knew what I was going through. It was just within I don't normally want to talk about that moment, because I went through the worst. I went through the worst during that period between October and December. I went through the worst, and I really thank God who saved me through all this. He saved me from all this. I am now at peace with myself, and I know everything happens for the good. So fast forward, I treated for pneumonia all the time, and I was still not getting fine. But deep inside my heart, my whole family and myself knew Amito had pneumonia. So fast forward, just for you guys to know that the whole of December I was on medication, still taking drugs almost every day, and I was really tired, but I was looking for a solution to get fine. Fast forward, we get to January, where everything now became extremely worse. Now this is where my story begins from. I think this video is already long. Allow me let the story be in the second video. Probably you guys will see this in the second episode of my battle with tuberculosis. As per now, let me say bye to you guys. See you in the next video, where I'll be telling you everything I went through until now. And just for you guys to know that tuberculosis is a very bad disease, and to me, I feel like it's worse than COVID and maybe HIV combined. It's a very, very deadly disease, and we all have to take it with a lot of caution. We have to look at it as a very bad disease and make sure we refrain from it in all ways. Otherwise, see you guys in my next video. I love you all. Bye bye.